Okay, so please, as you join this call, drop your name and where you are joining from in the chat. It's very, very important. As you all know that the mentorship session, we take attendance. Attendance will also be will also be shared the link to, So please be around, be available throughout this session so that you can be part of the benefits and all the knowledge that will be shared through this session. Be taking you through what we do at DSN because of those who are joining us for the first time. So I'm going to be doing that in the next few minutes. And then after that, our facilitator is here, who is going to demystify, the introduction to research, how to identify topic, and all of those, topics and concepts that we need to know about research. Okay, so moving to the next screen. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing today. This is the agenda. After the about, I'm going to share with you what you need to know about um about the research masterclass. And after that, I'm going to be introducing Anthony. Then my colleague Bukumi, who is also on the call, is going to take the Q&A section and the closing remark. Okay. So at CSN, we are with the vision of raising a millionaire in talent and build AI solutions that improve the quality of life and well-being of 2 billion people living in the emerging markets. And that is one of the reasons we are having trainings and master classes like this. To achieving our mission, our vision, we have these 5 pillars of impact, which is community development, research, capacity building, ecosystem development, consulting, and product development. So we achieve our vision through these 5 pillars of impact. Uh, on community development, we have different communities, campus, cities, professional, and other thematic community. In fact, we also have gender-centric community. For example, the ladies in AI community that I'm going to be sharing with us. I want to tell you more about the ladies in AI community very soon. Oh, lest I forget, happy International Women's Day to all the ladies on the call. Please, if you're a lady on this call, please just drop your favorite emoji. So we have a community for ladies. You have communities on campuses, University of Ilorin, UNILAG, UI, and other BUK and other universities in Nigeria. We also have in cities like Ibadan, uh, Ilorin, and other city. So you need to be one of these communities because it's very, very important. That is where knowledge is shared. That is, when you learn at the community level, it's always very awesome. We host different our community ambassadors, our community hosts different training events specifically. That is targeted towards the need of the community members. So we span over 96 countries. Yeah, we have members across the globe. I do say that from the coldest part of the globe, to the hottest part of the globe, we have a member. Yes, we have a member there. And this is our community, the 12 strata of DSN community, campus city, ladies in AI, kids and teens. Totally, it's a community for everyone. I'm saying this in the voice of Bukumi. So there is something for everyone at Data Science Nigeria. There's something for everyone. So just name it, you fit into any of our community strata. So we have different events, trainings and initiatives. One of it is AI Every Day, which is a 5 days, data analytics and data science training. Is always very, very intensive and practical, very hands-on. And then we also have the free AI in every city, that happens across the nation and even outside Nigeria. We do have it in Uganda and Kenya most of the time. Our community in Uganda, our community in Kenya do host the free AI in every city. Now, we all know about the all expense paid boot camp, that takes care of more than 30,000 learners, where we now select the best 200 who attends the all expense paid AI bootcamp. This is a picture from the 2024 edition, and then it was awesome. Please, if you attended the 2024 edition of the DSN AI bootcamp, drop your favorite emoji just to to identify that you are part of this group picture on the right hand of my screen. Now, I promise to talk more about the ladies in our community. Inclusivity is core at Data Science Nigeria, and that's why we have a community dedicated to ladies. Here, so I requested earlier on that all the ladies on this call, now going to pause a bit, check the chat to making sure that all the ladies on this call, celebrate everybody, let us all celebrate the ladies on this call. Today is the International Women's Day, and then at Data Science Nigeria, we had a dedicated event for ladies. So these are one of the events, some of the events that we've had, and then even we had one today, and I'm very sure some people on this call also joined that event. So if you want to join the ladies in AI community, please, you can just scan this barcode. My colleagues on this call, we also will drop in the links to join the ladies in AI community. It is very, very important to be part of this community if you are a lady. So now let's quickly speak about what we have done in research. So at Data Science Nigeria, we have presented at different global conferences. And then this is one of what we did at NeurIPS, where nine of our papers was accepted at New Reefs. It was awesome, and it has always been, that way year in, year out, that our papers have been, and that is what we want all our community members to be able to do. We want all our community members to be able to submit papers and that is what this research masterclass will be achieving. After this research masterclass, we hope to have uh, hundreds of our community members accepted at international conferences. Yes, if you are willing to be part of conferences like this, I want to see your favorite emoji, and not just your emoji. There's this saying about our convener, Dr. Lubayo Adekomi, that says that it's a great event, don't make someone, it's great decision. So it's great decision that we want make you stay committed to this 4 months, 4 weeks immersion, or in a research. So stay committed and then do all what you are requested to do, and then I bet you'll be surprised. You will be surprised because I work for it. To have your paper accepted in conferences like this. This is deep learning in Daba at Senegal in 2024, where our community member presented, and not just that, we hosted the communities. Our community members that got their paper presentation accepted. Yes, that's what we do every year at Deep Learning in Daba. We host our community, and it's always a beautiful site to build. Now, at academia.edu, our paper has been recognized more than 17,738 times. Data Science Nigeria paper has been cited, more than 17,738 times. This is a big one for us, and that's what we want to continue by instituting and organizing this research masterclass. We're recognized for producing the hyper-local data sets. That's one of our work. Our startup, that's the Equalize AI startup who did this, and it has been a good one. We want to contextualize language. We want to make sure that LLMs are able to speak our language. We can relate to them in our language. We want to digitize local languages, and that is what Equalizer is doing, and we have been recognized for this transformative work. So this is us also presenting at Deep Learning Idaba Dakar. For AI Collective, we are part of those that are coordinating and also managing the Nigeria AI Collective community. So why should it be a DSNR? Number one is access to mentorship opportunity, like what we are having today. Our mentorship session is basically for our core community members. So if you are here on this call and you are not on Telegram, you don't have an ID, then you need to do that as soon as possible. My colleagues will be dropping links to to doing this very soon. Access to premium training and content and facilities like what we are having, research support and collaboration. Yeah, that's what we give our community members. We give them research support, collaboration, and exceptional community members can be supported, for conferences and all. So these are opportunities that community members can unlock. One of it that is also very important and is get a certificate of participation. So every year, our community members that are active, will get a certificate of participation at the end of the year. So we have our metrics. If you attend our community events, central events, and even local events. That's why it's very important for you to belong to a local community, either city or on campus. So you will be able to get so that you can get a certificate of participation. So to become a DSNR, you just scan this barcode or the link that is on my screen. My colleagues will be dropping that link so that you can just click in the chat and then you can be part of it. And then also, if you want to know the community that is very close to you, you can just scan this barcode and then you'll be able to identify that. So these are annual learning calendar for 2025. We are currently in March, and that's it. Can you see March 7? And today is what? March 7. We have started our research masterclass. If you notice the item 7 on my screen, that's research event and masterclass, which will run between 7th of March to 28th. So that's what we're currently on. And that's what we are having at the moment. Okay, so do follow up to the end and then you are going to enjoy this section. So to access the annual calendar, in case you couldn't capture all the events that we have for this year, you can just use this barcode to do that. Okay, we have a knowledge box. This is a repository of different videos, different content, books, practice, data sets that you cannot. In fact, we have hundreds of research, papers on the DSN knowledge box. So by just clicking this, by just scanning this barcode or using the link on my screen that my colleagues should also be dropping, just access thousands of knowledge of resources that can help you as you grow as a data scientist or a researcher. These are annual reports in case you want to know more about data science Nigeria, what we have done in the last 1 year, between 2023 and 2024. That's it. Just scan this code, this barcode, and then we take you to everything that we've done, the finance, everything. Just scan it. It is there for you to see. Okay. I'm excited, and we are now going to be moving to the next part of this. But before we move to that, I want to also, give a broad overview of how this master class will run. It's very, very important. Please, I need you to sit right and listen to this because there are a lot of questions around this. Now, for this month's mentorship session that is dedicated to research masterclass, I want you to know that it's going to run for 4 weeks. Yes, every day for 4 weeks. Now, how do we achieve this? Learning resources like what we shared on Monday. We share learning resources to everyone that registered, and as immediately you register, you get your learning resources. Yes, you get a message that contains the learning resources. So it will be shared for you to study between Monday and Thursday. Yes, Monday and Thursday. And then on Friday, like what we have now, there's going to be a live session with an expert facilitator that will take us and answer our questions. Don't forget that part of the correspondence to all that registered is a link to submit your question. Yes. So if you submitted your question, we will have created it and shared with the facilitator before Friday so that the facilitator will answer and respond to all of these questions. As you can see in this chart, Monday to Thursday is self-paced learning, and then on Friday we have the live session, and it continues like that for 4 good weeks. Okay, so if you have any question, you always ask me after. I can drop it in the chat room. Now it is time for me to introduce the at the facilitator so that we can start today's section. Please, if you're excited, I want you to see, I want to see your favorite emoji in the chat. I'll be calling out names now. Okay, I want to know those who are excited about this. Okay, I want to know those who are excited. Yes, Christiana is excited. Oh, Jesus loves is excited. Merit is excited. Ogbobi Favor, Olamide Lawal, Tijesu Adekunle, Ruben is excited. You, yes, yes. Tejumala is also excited. I'm very, very excited. So let me introduce you to our speaker for today. Okay. So our speaker today is Anthony Sorunadi, who's a dedicated machine learning engineer. Anthony Sorunadi currently serves as a senior machine learning engineer and research and innovation lead at Data Science Nigeria. So since May 2022, he has been there, and he focuses on developing large-scale machine learning application and advancing speakers recognition system. Anthony's academic background includes a Bachelor of Technology in Maritime Technology and Management from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Futo, Nigeria. Yeah, complemented by multiple nano degrees in deep learning and connects mentorship from Udacity. So, beyond this professional commitment of Anthony, he actively contributes to the machine learning community through various platforms. If you want to follow Anthony on GitHub, just search for that username conceptual code where he shares his projects and collaborations. Additionally, he runs a YouTube channel. Yes, Anthony runs a YouTube channel aimed at demystifying concepts in machine learning and computer vision. His research his research endeavor includes co-authoring a paper titled Enhancing Transformers Model for Igbo Language Processing, a comparative study focusing on optimizing transformer for the Igbo language, which was published in March 2024. Please, with your favorite emoji, I want you to welcome Anthony Surunadi. I will take up the stage and to participate in the first section of the Research Masterclass 2025. Please keep as excited as I am with your favorite emoji. Let's celebrate Anthony as he takes up the stage. Over to you, Anthony.
Yeah, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I think there's someone talking on the background. Kabi, something like that. If you can mute. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah. Okay. Welcome everyone. It's good to have us here. I mean, I can see a lot of reaction on the group. Thank you everyone for joining the session, and I'm glad that we have over 100 people here who wants to listen to us, what we do, and also teach on how we write our paper. I mean, the recent ICLAO that's just going to start very soon. We already have us. I mean, have six of our papers, accepted in the conference, and that's a good thing. And the goal of this workshop is to actually, teach you guys how to do this. I know some of you already have the knowledge. It's good to reinforce what you already know, so you can write a good paper, right? So without wasting time, I'll be sharing my screen. I hope I can share my screen here. Yeah, of course. Okay. I'll share my screen too. Please, can you allow me to share my screen? Okay. This is the screen. Okay. Please let me know when you can see my screen. Hello?
Yes, we can see your screen, Anthony.
Okay. So the topic today is mastering the art of research writing. Especially, we're going to be focusing on how to write a good abstract and a good introduction. Right. I believe those that have finished their undergraduates, already have an idea. I mean, they have done research works during their, final year, to be a graduate, right? So I believe that this is not a strange topic. I mean, it's something that most people have had experience on how to do, right? So without wasting time, we just dive in. So this is the agenda of today. Of course, we don't just jump into how to write abstract and how to write introduction. I think we should be able to know exactly what is research writing, and then how do you even start writing research writing, right? So, I mean, from there, building that foundation, we can now move into like step-by-step guide on how to write the abstract session, the introduction session, of your research. I mean, this whole workshop is, in 4 weeks. So today's session is going to be just about the abstract and introduction. Okay. I mean, I'll start with a question. I want it to be a very interactive section. Just listening. I also want to hear from you guys. I mean, if I mean, I believe that some of you have done research in the past, and I'll start with a question. Like, like in your own opinion, or based on what you know, or what you've heard, what is research writing? I mean, if I can see some people's comments, I mean, that would be interesting. Or I mean, you want to talk, unmute your mic and tell us so we can learn from you too. Any person at all? Any comment? Any person at all from the comment section?
No comments. No comment at the
Okay,
moment.
but
Please drop your comment in the section in the chat box.
if someone is raising his hand or her hand, I don't know. Let's allow the
Okay.
person to speak. Yeah,
Let the person just use the chat. Abraham, please kindly use your
yeah.
chat so
Let's use
that
the
we
chat.
can.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, the
Just
chat
drop your stuff
is
on the chat.
disabled. That's why we cannot send a chat.
Yeah.
The chat button is disabled.
Okay, so sorry. So can you attempt it now? I think it's resolved now. You can continue, Anthony.
Okay, so for not to waste time on that, okay, I think people have dropped three slow sense of investigating topic, gathering information, and writing about it, the nice way. Yeah, nice. I mean, that's a good one, right? So, in my own opinion, I mean, which is almost the same thing that everybody has in mind, right? Research is kind of a way you structure your findings, or you present your findings, right? Analyze them, and then show insights using a systematic investigation of a topic problem. So, research actually comes out of curiosity. I mean, you want to know something, you want to solve a problem, right? You're working on something, and then you want to know more about that. And the answers are now available, and you want to. I mean, this is just a literal meaning, right? And you want to, you know, do some experiments and to uncover some insights and results to share to the body of knowledge, right? So this can be useful in academic settings. It can be useful in the professional settings also. I mean, it's all about solving problem. The world we live in today is out of research, right? All the innovations that we have, the phones that we're using, all the things that we're enjoying is people's research, things they have done, and this is added, and people can now build on top of that, and then we can have good products that we're using. So I just want to put our mind on it. So research it's not just about writing research. I mean, the product we use today are being built out of research based on the research that have been done. People go through all those, and then they can build stuff, build innovation, right? I mean, that's all about research, right? and then you now need to put those in a writing format in a way, that makes sense towards the audience or the workshop or conference they are looking towards to submit the paper, right? So I just want to be um, talking in a way that everyone will understand what I'm saying. So now, for what we are doing, we are going to be writing papers about. I mean, it's academic paper, right? We can submit to conferences like NeurIPS, ICLR, ACL, stuff like that, or I mean, workshops that are under these conferences. We can submit our papers, Deep Learning Daba, yeah. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing, right? And then if you look here, I'm trying to remove this. So give me a second, please. Okay, yeah. How do you even write research, right? How do you start writing research? You don't just jump into research. I mean, if you jump in, you will jump out, right? You need to select a domain. You need to think about the domain you're more comfortable with to work with, right? And for the works that we're doing at DSN. I mean, we are an AI company, and most of our research is about AI research, right? And yeah, so I'm gonna use that as an example. I mean, your domain can be anything. It can be in economics, can be in arts, it can be in science, engineering. It can be in any of those fields. But the building block or the foundation is that if you want to write a research, you must think about the domain you want to work with, right? Here we can talk about the NLP, the computer vision, speech processing, and other things you can have as domain that you want to, do your research on, right? And then that's the first thing to do. Once you decide that, right, you need to think about the topics. Like you need to brainstorm topics that are available. Like examples I've put on the screen. I hope you guys can hear me and see my screen. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. So you need to brainstorm topics, for example, improving multilingual translation models. If that is, the kind of things you're looking forward to do at the NLP parts, right? Computer vision, speech processing, enhancing speech recognition for low resource language. These are possible topics, someone can actually go about. But before you actually come up with that, I mean, you need to, once you have all these broad kind of things, you need to now uh, select a specific topic, narrow your focus to a specific problem or question. Now, at this point, you need to now, define your topic as a question. Like I said before, research is out of curiosity, right? So I'm building something, and then what I'm building I found a bottleneck on what people have been doing, and I have a different method of doing that. Or I start thinking of, oh, if I do this way, there could be a way of doing this better, so it can run faster, or maybe it can have, maybe the file size will not be much, based on what's is available. But these are questions. Are there ways I can do this? So that is out of curiosity. You're asking question, towards what you want to build. So you define your topic as a question. For example, how can transformer models improve test summarization for legal documents? I mean, this can be a question you're asking depending on the research area or the domain you are focusing on. You have gone through all these levels and you are coming to this point. This is kind of a framework that I personally use to put myself in check and work accordingly. And I believe that some people might want to adopt that same methodology, of coming up with topics and, coming up with, research ideas they want to work on. So for me, I believe research is about interest in the area that you're interested in. It's easier to float and work well in those areas, right? So you define your topic as a question, right? And then I mean, like example we have here, right? So the next thing, you need to, once you have a question, you need to now conduct some, preliminary research, which could be reviewing some studies people have done in the past, looking at how they did their work, looking at how the kind of data sets that they use to do their experiments, their results, the tools they use, this is, this should correspond to the questions that you're asking. I mean, for example, I can pick this question that I have here: how can transformer models uh, improve test summarization in legal documents? For example, let me just go back to my stuff and just copy this test, right? And I will open Google Scholar to check. Okay, I believe you can see my screen. If I paste this question, this stuff is my question, assuming that this is my question, right? You can see a lot of research uh, papers that is talking about this, right? About the question that I have. What I have to do, it's good to always make sure that your papers you're looking at are maybe like 5 years, 4 years thereabout. I mean, more recent is better. Like, I mean, very recent works you are looking at actually better. It shows you that this is the state of the art. This is what is the best at this time. You are looking at to uh, when you are trying to review what other people have done, and this helps you to build the background knowledge towards what you're working, because research is all about building, on top of the shoulders of giants, right? What the groundbreaking work people have done. You are working on top of that, to have your own paper out there, right? So, for example, here I can just select since 2021. I can do 2025. I can do since 2025, 2024, right? 2025. I can look at all these papers, right? Click and read them, maybe looking at the abstracts to confirm if these papers, actually, resonate with the question that you're asking. Do they have a way of answering some part of this question, or they have done works that relate to that? And you're going to have all those. I mean, the best way to do that, you can create like a to-do list that can help you to go through how you're going to follow this step by step if you're using this framework. I mean, many people have the way they do your work. This is the way I do my work, right? So basically, clicking on all the links that's, all these papers that sound like they relate to your work, and you're going to read all those papers. For example, you can get like 50 papers or 100 papers or 20 papers, right? And then just scan through their abstract to read and check if these papers actually align towards what you are doing. If they align, you can create a folder and or maybe a Google Doc or Microsoft whatever, and paste the topics, the links, and the abstracts, and put all those together. And later you can come back and read again to filter the ones that are too broad, that struggling to align towards what you want to work on. So at the end of the day, you might have like 10 papers or 20 papers or 30 papers that are strongly aligned towards what you want to do. One thing that whatever you're working on, people have done something before around that. So you will find something that relates to that, right? So then we can now start looking at them. Of course, you filter down to those ones that strongly relates to what you're working on. And then once you get that, I mean, you already have, you already have, what's it called again? You already have, good understanding of what you are working on. And mind you, as you are bringing those stuffs, reading about them, you are focusing on trying to understand what they did, right? What are the data sets that they used in solving the problem? That is when you have already organized the works, filtered out the ones that are too broad towards your focus, right? Because you can easily drift away if you're working on research paper. So you need to be very focused. So you have those focus topics or papers that really aligns towards what you're working on, and then you begin to read the abstract. In every paper, the contribution of the work is always available there. right, in the abstract, right? You can look at that and see a summary of the method that they used to build the experiment. If that aligns with you better, you can go down and read the methodology of the paper to understand what they did, how they did it, the data that they used to carry out the experiments. These are very important stuff. And as I doing that, you are documenting all the things you are reading and understanding from that place according to your own understanding, right? And putting some reference of these people that you have checked their work, so that when you start writing your introduction of stuff or literature review, you already have a raw material of all the papers that you have, looked up, for the work you're doing, and you can easily pile up those, and those can be your literature review. So you don't need to start going again and doing literature review. So you already have that. You just need to structure them very well and write them. And don't copy anyone verbatim. Anything that you see that's makes sense to you, that's relates to what you're doing, and you want to, write that, you need to rephrase that the way it's written from the paper and rephrase it the way you understand it, and still cite the person that did the work, or where you got the idea, right? So I hope that is very clear. Does anyone have any question at this point? Or maybe I think I should go forward when I finish, people can ask a question. I think that's what you guys think. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, that's better, Anthony. We'll take all questions after you're
Okay.
done.
Okay, thank you. So now that you have gone to this point, the thing you need to do, papers are written into sections. You have uh, the abstracts, the introduction, the methodology, you have the results, and you have the conclusion, right? So each of these sections, there are ways you need to write them the way it makes sense so that people can actually understand what you're trying to do. Because one thing about paper is that you write paper, you submit the paper, people are going to review your work before it's been accepted. And it's a good thing to know that people actually understand what you're thinking in your mind and validates your thoughts. It gives you the confidence that, you actually did a great job. That for other people in other part of the world, different backgrounds, senior level or something, right? Reviewing your work and aligning with your thoughts. That gives a lot of, satisfaction. For myself, I feel good about that, right? So you need to, arrange your work in these sections, right? Then, so when you come here, so I'm trying to drag this thing off in here. This is introduction section. Basically, people start with abstract. Some people start to write with abstract. Some people start to write with introduction, right? Myself, I start with methodology. But for this section, we're going to talk about only introduction and abstract. The reason why I start with methodology is because, my research writing, because, that's basically because most of my work is practical works, like, experimental, like, you do things, right? So, when I run experiments, it's easier for me to tell the experiment that I've run, also trying to benchmark it with what other people have done, so it's easier to write that part because, that comes out of you, not just looking up here and there, just like we did in literature review, right? So you produce that information based on what you've done. So it's easy to tell that story, right? So for me, this is just the reason why I prefer to write that, right? So, but here, this is basically how to write a good introduction. Of course, you need to provide background information to set the context. An example is going to be, after you've done all those works, the works that you've done, trying to understand. Of course, now you have a good background knowledge of what you want to do. You're not confused, right? You know what you want to do. You start any topic you're trying to work on. You start, with a broad, kind of thing, context, right? For example, you're working in NLP or you're working on sentiment analysis or something, right? So you can start with artificial intelligence has has revolutionized numerous industry. That is very broad, ranging from healthcare to finance. Within AI, NLP enables machines to understand and generate human language, fostering advancements in machine translation, sentiment analysis, and conversational agents, right? So, this is very broad, start with very broad. And then you come down, you try to be specific, you define a specific issue that your research, and you can expand this actually. And it's good to write with the research language. You can look at other papers and see the language, the way they write. It's good to write in research language, right? And then you need to, after that part, you need to define the specific issues your research addresses. It's very important, right? Example can be, despite the significant progress in NLP, current state-of-the-art models struggle with understanding nuanced semantic relationship in low-resource languages. This poses challenges for building effective language tools for underserved community. Maybe you are interested in working on low-resource languages. For example, the languages in Africa, in Nigeria, Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, or other languages. Like they are low-resource. They're not available online. You can't find them. Just same way you find English everywhere, right? So they are low resource, and it's difficult for all these tools or models to really understand those languages. So maybe you're interested in trying to do works around that, yeah, right? So you need to try to define a specific issue your research addresses. Okay. Then, of course, you will start with, it's good to, after that, you can also, try to highlight existing research gaps to justify your study. You need to highlight what the gaps that are existing. Of course, your work is coming to fill up a gap, so you build that background, that foundation to justify, you try to highlight the existing gaps just to make sure that your work stands out. Like, previous studies, for example, previous studies on low resource languages have primarily focused on bilingual compare, neglecting the potential of transfer learning from higher resource languages. Furthermore, evaluation metrics for these studies often fail to capture contextual accuracy. This can be a gap that you have identified from the preliminary research that you've done towards reviewing what people have done based on the question you're asking, the works you've done, you've seen people have done. This can be, one of the things that you've seen and you want to work on, to build upon, to cover the gap, right? And you can now, outline how your research addresses this gap. This is basically your contribution. Every research you're writing must have a contribution. What has not existed before? And I forgot to say this, during those trying to see what people have done, try to look for related studies, based on what you're looking for, helps you to understand if someone has actually done what you want to do. If someone has done what you want to do, there's no need of going forward about that, unless you have a different method of solving that problem. And if that your method has been, done and written paper upon, there's no need of that, because research is about novelty, innovation. You're trying to bring something to the body of knowledge, right? So your contributions must be unique. They must be unique. So you need to now apply how your research addresses these gaps that you have identified. The reason why I'm putting all this, right, to show you the language, right? This research poses, for example, you can start with this research poses a novel multilingual embedded unique technique that leverages transfer learning to enhance contextual understanding in low resource language. Additionally, it introduces an evaluation framework tailored to such languages. You can see how this the gaps that you have highlighted connects to your contribution, right? Of what you're trying to build. And when someone is reading your paper in this progression, right, it makes a lot of sense, because someone can actually align with, sounds like a story. Someone aligns with what you're working on. Okay. And then, of course, you explain why your research is significant, very important. Of course, you can read on what I have provided here. For example, you can say by addressing this gap is crucial for developing equitable language technologies that serve the diverse linguistic communities. This study aims to democratize AI by focusing on inclusivity and fairness in language processing. I mean, uh, this is okay. How you can so here, you also need to state specific goals of your research. You know, like you can see the example, develop a transfer learning uh, approach for improving NLP in research languages, introduce and validate a new metric for evaluating semantic accuracy in multilingual language, right? And then you need to emphasize the novelty and impact of your work. Very, very important. You need to emphasize, and tell the impact of your work, right? So you can read. I think I will share this slide with you guys so you can read all this and understand how you can structure your introduction, right? So this is how you write your introduction, and you can expand on top of all of this. You can expand on top of all of this. Can expand on top of all of this, and make your introduction very rich and readable, right? And then, so that's how to write introduction. A good introduction actually. So now we move to how to write an abstract. At DSN, we follow a framework we call CRADIS. I'm going to be explaining CRADIS, what each of the alphabet means to us, right? So the C in CRADIS here talks about contextual introduction. The purpose is to set the stage for your research, and trying to, view the context and the background, and also introduce the broad topic and the problem area. I mean, whatever you're writing, needs to have, of course, there's a problem area and broad topic you're trying to, work on. So after starts with that, just the same way your instruction starts with, broader stuff, right? For example, it can be NLP has revolutionized information extraction, yet challenges persist in low resource language translation, right? And then you need to actually, explain, the rationale, you need to explain why your work, why this work you're doing is necessary. It's very necessary, right? It tries to identify the gap, the need, in the existing body of knowledge. Why are you bringing this work? So, abstract is actually, the first thing people read. When they like your topic, they open your work. Everyone tries to read the abstracts to actually understand what you have, because it's actually the summary of everything that you've done, right? And for your papers to be accepted, you need to be careful on how you write your abstract, because you might have a great work, but because how you did your abstract, someone might not feel, the people that review your work might not really feel good with that, and they can just move to the next one, and your paper is rejected. So it's very good to pay very good attention on how you write your abstract very well. You need to be careful about that, right? So you explain that, and this can be an example. Despite advancements, current models cannot perform in languages with limited data sets. Stating novel approaches. There should be ways of doing this better than what's already existing. This is trying to build a rationale, towards the work you're trying to do. Okay. And then you need to briefly, describe the approach or the technique you use in your research. Now we are at the CRADIS, the A part of the CRADIS, the approach, your methodology, right? How did you do this? You're not going to explain all that in your abstract, just like a line. A line of that is, one line of that is okay for you to, tell what you did, how you did the abstract. And then if someone is interested in that, person can go down into your methodology section to actually dive deep to understand, to read more about that, right? And then example of how to write that can be, this study poses a transformer-based approach of fine-tune on synthetic and multilingual, I just said. I mean, this is just a line describing, as an example, that could describe how the work was done, right? And then you go towards the discovery. This is results. Every research has a result. Every experiment has a result. After you have done all the experiments that you've done, explain your methodology or approach, it's a good thing to tell with one line or two lines the result of your work on your abstract. So that when someone comes to your work, the person has an idea of what you're doing. And the person can just look through. If you work just the same way when you are trying to, do some research and to understand, the topic you're working on and see what other people have done, the related works people have done. I mean, you can remember that things you were doing that time where the first thing you were doing is to actually look at the abstract to understand what these works are about, and also try to know if they relate to what you're working on. So if those abstracts are not written well, you might actually miss the ones that aligns with what you're doing. So that's why it's good for everyone to do a very good abstract. When you do a very good abstract and good introduction, it's easier for you to get citations from when people are doing their work, because I mean they will enjoy reading your work and allows you to, you're clearly communicating what you did and they understand that. Okay. So I mean, this is an example of how you can write your results in your abstract experiments, demonstrate a 20% improvement in translation accuracy for low resource language compared to baseline models. The other methods people have used. I mean, what you've done contributes to 20% improvement. You can see the data there. It's nice. I mean, when someone sees it's oh nice, and they can try to, maybe replicate your work or try to, um, go deeper to understand what you've done. Yeah, very important, right? Okay. So for my session here, the last part of abstracts is actually the implication. What's the implication of your work, right? Uh, it explores the broader implication of the findings for the field or related domain. Gives you try to let people know what this means to the body of knowledge, right? This result suggests that integrating synthetic data can significantly enhance translation capabilities across underrepresented languages. This is what it means. This is the significance of your work. Some people go on and add significance. I mean, you can stop here if you like, you can add that part. But if you can be able to structure your work, the good work you've done in this framework, of credits, you have a greater chance of your paper being accepted. People liking what you've done. I do not know. These are the ways of how you can write a very good introduction and abstract, and also how to come up with topic ideas, covered here. I don't know if anyone have any question. I think this is just the end of the session. Thank you. Any question? Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we can hear you. So we have a Robert's hand up.
Okay.
Robert, please drop your question in the chat so that I can just pick it up from the chat. On you, Bazi, please also do the same. Drop your question in the chat. But please, as we do that, I want everyone with your favorite emoji to celebrate Anthony Soronadi for this rare delivered section. It's been awesome, Please, with your favorite emoji, I want you to celebrate the good job of Anthony Soronadi. So I'll be going through the chat now to pick questions. Robert, I'm still expecting your question. But at the same time, we have been able to create some questions from those who have gone through the resources that we shared, and and then I'll be asking those questions on this call. But before that, I think Onya Bazi has dropped his question. He said, Anthony, please, Google Scholar is there. Okay, please, aside Google Scholar, is there any other platform for the literature? Okay, I wanted to attend to that. Okay, the second one is you said you are going to share the slide after the session. Don't forget to do that, please. So we may not share the slide as what we'll be doing is we are going to be sharing the recordings. The recordings will be available on our YouTube platform, so you can always go there. You see the slide, you see the screen, and you also see the audio, the two together. Please, can I see register and access the resources? Definitely, you can do that. Is it good to cite in both introduction and abstract section, or it has to be your unique contribution? So, Anthony, for now, we have two major questions that is directed to you. The first
Okay.
one is the one Oyembazi shared, where he said, apart from Google Scholars, is there any other was it, let me still look for it. Is there another platform for literature? And then the last one, which is it good to cite in both introduction and abstract session, or it has to be your unique contribution? Please respond to that.
Please, I didn't get the last question, please. Can you paste it on the chat so I can read it?
Okay, it's already on the chat. It's on the chat by Latif Damilola. That was the
Okay.
last chat, yes.
Okay, is it good to cite both? Uh, someone, I think the question has this. It's good to cite both. Introduction. It has to be your units. So, is it good to cite in both introduction and no, on its abstract, you don't cite on your abstract, right? Your abstract, you don't cite on your abstract. Your abstract is just about this is what summary of the work you have done, right? Your citation, if you want to cite people's work, is from your introduction, related, the related studies. You can cite some work on your methodology. Your results. You can cite works around there, but you don't cite works, on your abstract. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Anthony. So because of our time, I would like everyone to please resort to our Telegram group. I'm very sure that if you are registered for the mentorship session, you have the link to the Telegram group already. Okay, just resort to there to the Telegram group. Anthony Soronadi will be on the group to respond to your question. Also, will also be on the group to respond to your question. Thank you very much, Anthony. And so
Yeah.
take you through some slides that we have here. Uh,
Okay.
okay, good. So this is the attendance. I'm sure my colleagues have dropped the attendance link. It is very, very important as a community member to fill this attendance. So because there are a lot of benefit attached to filling it. Also, this feedback, yes, we want to get your feelings, we want to get a feel out from you on how your perspective about the mentorship session. So please always use this link to drop your feedback. We can create it, look at it, draw insight, and then use it to improve the section. Okay, good. So there's going to be pictures, but please do note that this section continues. We are going to be dropping the resources for next week on Monday, and then we are going to be having on the call Friday, that's next week Friday, Dr. Rosalie, yes, Dr. Rosalie Oluwashim, who is going to continue from where Anthony stopped. So please don't forget to drop your question on our Telegram group. Let's engage there. Anthony will be there and other researchers from Data Science Nigeria will also be on that group to attend to your your question. So thank you very, very much for your time on this call. We hope to receive your responses on our Telegram group. Thank you very much, Anthony. Please, with your favorite emoji, I want you to celebrate Exercise Nigeria, celebrate our facilitator as we end today's section. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, bye.